Tank carries the power. He's sneaky. Explosive.
Yeah, he sets traps, and he's got ridiculous one-punch knockout power, too. He's just such an interesting fighter because his style is so different from everybody else. He's so conservative in the early rounds, throws so few punches, and he lets you work. He lets you work, and you're backing up, and you're always afraid of that power, and he's just moving in, trying to find that opening where he just gets in there on you.
Nah, I'm not shocked. I mean, his last fight when he fought Lamont, Jake Paul was at the fight. He told y'all he was going to fight somebody like Jake Paul, so I'm not shocked. It don't surprise me, so.
Joe Rogan has delivered a serious warning to Jake Paul ahead of his upcoming clash with Gervonta "Tank" Davis. Speaking on his podcast, Rogan cautioned that stepping in against a proven knockout artist like Davis is an entirely different challenge compared to the opponents Paul has faced so far. While he gave Paul credit for his commitment to improving as a boxer, Rogan stressed that Tank's explosive speed, devastating power, and high-level ring IQ could quickly expose Paul's vulnerabilities. In Rogan's eyes, this isn't just another celebrity showcase, it's a dangerous fight that could go very badly if Paul underestimates the task in front of him.
Gone too far. Too far. Jake Paul is taking on Gervonta "Tank" Davis in an exhibition bout this November. The fight will be taking place in Atlanta between the cruiserweight and the 135-pounder. Nearly a 100-pound difference between the two guys. This is absolutely insane. Let me know what you guys think about this in the comments down below.
Rogan has long praised Gervonta "Tank" Davis' knockout power, often comparing it to a smaller version of Mike Tyson. In a conversation with comedian Ali Sadiq, Rogan broke down Davis' seventh-round knockout of Ryan Garcia, pointing out how Tank generates tremendous power despite his compact frame. Rogan noted, "It's crazy, there's nothing particularly special about the way he looks physically," underscoring Davis' deceptive strength. He also highlighted Tank's relentless, aggressive style, which makes him an even more intimidating presence inside the ring, a trait that has turned him into a fan favorite among boxing enthusiasts.
That guy is so unusual.
Yeah.
His style's so unusual, and his patience.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Leo Santa Cruz fight was really something for me because Leo Santa Cruz is a technician. He's great, Mexican style, but he's also a technician. And the fight was very close for Tank stop him.
Yeah.
But he has that power that can end it.
Well, he finds these openings.
Yeah.
He sees them, but he doesn't go after them right away. He waits for the right time. He's so patient. Like when you watch the early rounds of his fights, he's like at a world champions that are competing today at the highest level. He probably has the lowest punch count in the early rounds.
Yeah.
Because he just wait, but he also knows he's got that nuclear option. If he can fucking crack you, most likely he's going to take you out. He's got massive confidence. I watch him, someone who's exceptional. Where it's just like the technique is so dialed in.
Yeah.
You know, there's guys that like Gervonta Davis is like that. Their technique's so dialed in that when you watch them uncork, it's like, oh my God, the efficiency of it. And so I was just a giant fan of the guy. I just loved as a person who really enjoyed technique. I like watching someone who's exceptional at it.
Even though Rogan believes Jake Paul isn't ready for elite-level opponents like Tank Davis, he has still given Paul plenty of credit for what is accomplished in the boxing world. Rogan has described Paul's ability to navigate a celebrity-driven sport as genius, noting that he has positioned himself as both a legitimate boxer and a major draw capable of securing massive paydays. In Rogan's view, Paul has proven he's far more than just a YouTuber, showing real skill, ring IQ, and a talent for self-promotion that keeps him relevant. At the same time, Rogan remains grounded about the nature of Paul's career, recognizing that much of it is still built around spectacle as much as sport.
Logan Paul, is he a legitimate boxer?
A legitimate boxer, yes. People mocked me when I was saying that before, but now I think people are coming around. And the way I look at it, I say, if this kid was not a YouTuber, if he wasn't some guy that you knew from the time he was 16 years old on YouTube, and you just saw him box, and you saw him knock out former UFC champions, you saw him beat legitimate boxers, or beat athletes, and beat a bunch of MMA fighters, you'd go, this kid can fucking fight. He knows how to fight. Nothing he's doing looks wrong. He's not sticking his head straight up in the air and winging punches with his eyes closed. He's fighting well. He looks good. And if he was just an up-and-coming boxer that was this exciting, highly promotable, really good at selling fights, you'd be like, this kid's the future. He's really something special. If Jake Paul wasn't Jake Paul, he wasn't this YouTuber guy. He was just a boxer. and you see a boxer knock out the former UFC welterweight champion, not just the former, but one of the best ever, knock him out with one punch like that. Like, oh man, have you seen this Jake Paul dude coming up? He's for real. Because nothing about watching him fight, to me, screams like he's in over his head. Nothing. He looks like a real boxer.
The fight's intrigue largely stems from the fighter's physical contrast. Paul, standing 6 feet 1 inch and weighing approximately 199 pounds, competes in the cruiserweight division. In contrast, Davis, who stands at 5 feet 5.5 inches and typically weighs around 135 pounds, is a WBA lightweight champion. This 60 pounds weight difference has raised questions about the fairness and safety of the matchup. Despite the concerns, both fighters have agreed to the exhibition, with Paul reportedly agreeing to drop to 195 pounds to make the fight more competitive.
Jake Paul versus Gervonta Davis is official. A lightweight takes on a heavyweight, a bit insane, a big size difference, but also a speed difference. I want to talk about this fight, my picks and predictions for how it's going to play out. Basically just sit on it, just run it. So the only combat sports fight I could think of off the top of my head that was similar in the size disparity, Buckley versus Buzabayev. Now look at these guys. Buckley is 5'6", I believe 5'7". Buzabayev is 6'5". It just looks ridiculous. Jake Paul says 6'1", but I think he's more like 6'2". He's a big fucking dude. 76-inch reach. Well, Gervonta's only 5'5", with a 9-inch reach disadvantage on Jake Paul. 9-inch reach. You're having a laugh, buddy. But it's not all about size, boys. Buckley showed against Buzabayev, speed is a factor, and these little guys can. Buckley actually won this fight on point. A lot of jabs to the body, overhand right, on repeat. Rinse and repeat, use your speed, get out of range. When you're in range, you're hitting the body, hitting up top. When you're out of range, you're just moving around and keeping the big man moving. I do see this going a similar way. Now, I'm not a Jake Paul hater by any means. I actually think he's pretty decent. But just the size of it, I mean, he weighs almost 100 pounds more than Gervonta. I mean, he is going to be a lot slower. And Jake isn't the most explosive and the quickest guy. I mean, like I said, I'm no Jake Paul hater. I actually think he's pretty good. He's got power, a lot of power, but he's just not that quick. And Gervonta is very fucking quick. I think there is no way in the world Gervonta Davis finishes Jake Paul. You cannot pay me enough on that pick. But Gervonta Davis on points, I think it's basically signed, sealed, delivered. It's going to be jab to the body, move, jab to the body, and jab to the body again and move. It's all it's going to be. So if you're paying for this fight, I mean, I think it's on Netflix, so most of us should be locked and loaded, but if you're going to any way to pay for this one, don't even bother. It's going to be boring as fuck. It's going to be Gervonta jabbing the body and Jake Paul missing overhand. That's what this fight's going to be. And it's going to be, I don't know, it's going to be 120 to 100 in favor of the little man. 5'5", 3-inch reach, Gervonta and Davis.
For Davis, the risks are reputational rather than physical. A loss to Paul, who has a 12-1 record and is less experienced in professional boxing, could tarnish Davis's standing among boxing purists and fans. Conversely, Paul stands to gain significant exposure and credibility by defeating an undefeated champion like Davis. Not everyone is convinced this fight belongs in professional boxing. Critics, including fellow boxer Ryan Garcia, have expressed skepticism about the legitimacy of the matchup, likening it to a scripted wrestling event rather than a legitimate boxing contest. Garcia mocked the idea of Davis bulking up to nearly 195 pounds as delusional, while warning that boxing is drifting away from competition and toward popularity-driven spectacles. Despite the controversy, the fight is expected to draw significant attention, with Netflix streaming the event live to a global audience. The new blueprint is popularity over merit, picking money fights, not competition. He warned that boxing's integrity is being eroded day by day.
Want to lose because he's the bona fide world champion. I don't care if he's much smaller. I think Jake Paul has sort of plateaued as far as where his boxing is concerned. It's rather low level. He's big, he's physical, he's strong, he can hit. So there is that risk. Davis, at lightweight, you're in a moment where it's too physical for you. You can clinch. I guess the heavyweight, where you clinching? You ain't getting out of that corner just clinching anymore if you run out of space. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. But Davis, listen, there's a lot of talking points that I'm sure we'll get into when this gets closer to the fight. Davis can still punch at lightweight, can drop a heavyweight. there's a lot to gain there, right? If Davis knocks...
The answer is yes.
If Davis drops Jake on his ass, as much as Davis is the one with more to lose, it's still a highlight moment.
A visual that will stay forever.
Yeah. But if you get dropped, even if you're smaller, you're still a world champion in multiple weight classes. If you get dropped, what's the look? What's the feel? On the inside, as boxers, me and Chris Aldry, the champion, even you, Jim, you have fight experience, so we know that the risk is a big guy that big hits you, you're probably going down if you're a small guy, if he hits you clean. So we know the risk, but how does it look to the public eye who don't understand that? You know what I mean? The public. So there is a lot to lose, though. There's a bit to gain. I wouldn't necessarily have an issue with this had Davis's career arc been one that benefited boxing. Davis was manufactured and put into a position where he's supposed to benefit boxing, and I don't think he has. I think he's hurt boxing. So by giving him this reward, that's my problem. Why are we watching this? Why don't you make him earn his spot that he still hasn't earned, mind you?
All right, so it looks like it's official that Jake Paul is going to be fighting Tank Davis. So pretty crazy considering Jake Paul is 6'1", 220 walking around, and Tank Davis is 5'5", I think he's 140 walking around. So we're talking about 80-pound weight difference and then 8 inches of height. Everyone's been telling Jake Paul that he needs to fight real fighters in their prime. And Gervonta Tank Davis is in his prime and one of the best fighters out there, but this is just ridiculous. Let me know what you think.
Joe Rogan himself has questioned Paul's decision-making outside this fight, noting his delay of a bout with Anthony Joshua until 2026, expressing skepticism and even joking, "I think he put on all the steroids since any delay feels odd when both fighters are reportedly ready to compete now." He finds the postponement puzzling and believes it may hint at underlying motives rather than genuine preparation. Despite Paul's size advantage, many boxing experts still expect Davis to deliver the knockout. Former world champ Sean Porter boldly predicts a KO win for Tank, saying, "I'm betting on Tank." You'd be surprised. Analyst consensus echoes that Davis's speed, elite boxing IQ, and knockout power could compensate for the physical mismatch. Davis's proven skill set for these experts outweighs Paul's physical tools. Boxing insiders swiftly weighed in on the idea of this fight. Some criticized the matchup for undermining the sport's integrity, while others acknowledged the financial and promotional value of such high-profile showdowns.